Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Threshold. Let's go through the weekly recap. So to kick things off, train tickets have gone up by 4.9% in England and Wales. With either the trains being cancelled or running late, I think people are starting to question whether it's still worth getting the train.
I decided to go for a little run. So I ran to the end of the road, and when I got there, I thought maybe I'd run to the...
There is still a glimmer of hope for Londoners, as they've had their bus and tube prices frozen for another year. So as long as the train isn't cancelled, delayed, or there are general strikes, you can rest assured that you've paid a premium for your train ticket.
Look what I found in my pocket! Look! A year's salary right here!
So moving on to the Metropolitan Police, police officers are expected to receive compulsory training on violence against women under Labour plans.
I hit a woman for the first time in my life.
Now I know what we're all thinking, isn't it just common sense not to commit violence against women? You know, I think everyone's still very sceptical about policing in the UK. You know, the Met in particular don't exactly have the best track record. I think we just have to wait and see whether the Met can implement the changes that they clearly need to.
Special Officer Dookie reporting.
So Rishi Sunak gave his 10-minute speech outside of number 10. He mainly focused on the protests that were happening in London over the Israel-Palestine conflict. He had this to say.
Quiet, he's gonna say something.
Jewish children fearful to wear their school uniform, Muslim women abused in the street for the actions of a terrorist group they have no connection with. Now our democracy itself is a target. On too many occasions recently, our streets have been hijacked by small groups who are hostile to our values and have no respect for our democratic traditions.
Sunak also took a little dig at George Galloway during his speech. He had this to say.
And it is beyond alarming that last night the Rochdale by-election returned a candidate who dismisses the horror of what happened on October the 7th.
Some of you may know that George Galloway won a decisive victory at the Rochdale by-election recently. He had this to say.
You have paid and you will pay a high price for the role that you have played in enabling, encouraging and covering for the catastrophe presently going on in occupied Palestine in the Gaza Strip.
Now, I don't really know too much about George Galloway. Like, I know he's been around, you know, the scene a very long time. I do remember watching a really good debate from him and Christopher Hitchens over the war in Iraq. I'll pop it up here. But that was pretty much one of the best debates I've seen in a very long time. And finally, according to new research published by the World Health Organization, more than 1 billion people worldwide are now obese.
What the hell was that?
May I present to you, fat bastard?
We found that obesity rates have increased 4-fold among children and have doubled among adults. This is probably linked to the rise of fatty foods and the shift from more industrial style work into a technical home/office based work, you know, a lot of us tend to do now. I think there's all different kinds of variables for the rise in obesity. Some of it can also be attributed to the rise of inflation, and parents can't simply afford to choose healthier options for their kids anymore. Okay, that's everything for this week, guys. Thank you very much if you've made it to the end of the video. I just want to give a big shout out to James over at Church of the Assumption Cricket Club. I'll pop it up here if you guys want to go over and give them a watch. If you like cricket or you like sports in general, they produce some really good videos over there, so I'd highly recommend checking them out.